Smith of Chicago, Illinois, nonprofit, home video, and artworks creations. In this particular video, we will be looking at the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible that is read in every church around the world. The mistranslation occurs when the book of Psalms, 105th chapter, 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob is seen leaving the Iraqi Babylonian stele pyramid civilizations of Ham as they entered into ancient Egypt, bringing their Babylonian stele pyramids into North Africa, where we see the first stele pyramids of Saqqara, in which appears within the dome of the rock outer wall stone rectangular window frames as a Babylonian stele pyramid. And this is the image that is seen within all of the stone rectangular window frames surrounding the outer wall surface area of the dome of the rock octagonal building structure. So this Babylonian stele pyramid has a 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid squares flanking the upper left and right hand corners and lower left and right hand corners, which points to the book of Genesis 49:8, fourth son of Jacob, which is the lion sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem. Now, concerning this Babylonian stele pyramids, fourth son of Jacob of the book of Genesis 49:8, this is where the theological racism of Daniel 8:12 Greek and Roman conquerors kicks in, which denied the Babylonian temple walls, stele pyramid temple walls, cross and cube image of Nibiru, which is the book of Revelation, cube structure of New Jerusalem. Now, the Babylonian temple walls has a 6-point star that has a circle. Okay, and that's the image of Nibiru, which is the book of Revelation, cube structure orbiting around the sun. But there's another image of Nibiru which appears like a cross, that appears in a rectangular and horizontal form. Now, this is where we make one of the greatest archaeological, theological, and astronomical discoveries of all time, when we see the cube structure of New Jerusalem within the Ethiopian cross-shaped building structure in modern LALIBELA. When we go into the interior of this cross-shaped building structure and look up at the ceiling post, we see a 6-point star. Now, this 6-point star in the ceiling post area of the cross-shaped building structure in Africa, in Ethiopia, it has a cube. Now, this is where, when you look at my video, you'll see a 6-point star that has the cube structure of New Jerusalem. Now, when we micropixelate this 6-point star cube area, we see alien Yeshua, which is Allah as Yeshua, right? We see him as a 3 fingers and 1 thumb extraterrestrial. And this head is protruding out of the cube structure of New Jerusalem within the cube image, the smaller 1E cube image that appears within the 6-point star cube. So when we make this great archaeological, theological, and astronomical discoveries, we see that the story concerning the cross-shaped building structure in LALIBELA, cross image of Nibiru, which appears upon the Babylonian temple walls, this is an actual solid cross-shaped building structure that appears in Africa, that was carved out of solid bedrock, and the area that was left formed a square. The square is so deep that if you jump down in it and look up, you're looking up from the book of Revelations, returning cubic dimensions of New Jerusalem. How do we know this? Because every cube has a square for a ceiling, a square for a floor, a square for a left and right wall. So, when we rediscover the first black African civilization, stele pyramid civilizations of Ham, in accordance to the book of Psalms, 105th chapter, 23rd verse, entering into ancient Egypt from the modern stele pyramid civilization of Babylon, which appears in the Iraqi land area. What was denied in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible in the illegal name change of 1611, the 1611 King of England, that appointed 72 Greek Hebrew scholars to fly to Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem to translate the Islamic Aramaic Dead Sea Scrolls into English, Greek, and Latin. This is where the illegal name change of Jacob into Israel was placed in every Bible that now exists upon the surface of planet Earth. And this is what I mean by the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible, the illegal name change of Jacob into Israel. And that illegal name change wiped out the fourth son of Jacob, which is the black African lion sphinx of ancient Giza and Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem Temple Mount history, concerning the book of Revelation 21:18, returning cube cross image of Nibiru. Now, when we go back to the cross image of New Jerusalem that appears upon the Babylonian temple walls as a stone cross carved in the wall. Next, we see an 6-point star upon the black African step pyramid civilization of Babylon. So this is where we find the origin of the seal of King Solomon, 6-point star. We trace it back to Babylon. When we trace it back to Babylon, we're tracing it back to Ethiopia. Okay. Now, since we have isolated two 6-point star images, one up on the Babylonian temple walls in the Middle East, and one in the cross-shaped building structure located in LALIBELA in Ethiopia. So these two 6-point stars reveals a transition from the cube in the sun, which is in the 6-point star 8 image, and to the circle within the 6-point star, which is representing the sun. Now, upon the Babylonian temple walls, there are smaller circles around surrounding the tip of the 6-point star, which represent planets. So that means that the cube structure of New Jerusalem will lead the interior of our sun. Ask the question, what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at the aliens that landed upon Mount Sinai. And Ezekiel's biblical will to the will like U.F.O. They had 3 fingers and 1 thumb on each hand. They stand about 3 to 4 feet tall. And they have big black oval-shaped eyes. Now remember, those big black oval-shaped eyes is contact lenses, black contact lenses. Because if you take them off, they have big, huge eyes, these aliens. Okay, so the aliens that landed upon Mount Sinai in the Old Testament of the King James Bible, they are connected to the Babylonian cross image of Nibiru and 6-point star image of Nibiru. So when we go back to the black African fourth son of Jacob, who's now couched down in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramid, we see him entering into ancient Egypt according to the book of Psalms 105th chapter 23rd verse amongst the 12 sons of Jacob, where we currently see him today couched down in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramids. So as we come full circle, where he returned back to the Jerusalem Temple Mount octagonal building structure called the Dome of the Rock. Now, this El Sacred Mosque, okay, has that golden dome. It's the octagonal building structure. Now the ALIENSTEMPLE is that rectangular building structure that has a dome. Now when we look for alien Yeshua, or Allah as Yeshua, Babylonian step pyramid temple wall image, we see a 339 extraterrestrial stepping on a Greek and Roman six-fingered Roswell alien as Enlil. So Enki is the Babylonian extraterrestrial that destroyed, or was Enlil control, illegal control over our 9 planets within our solar system. So 2 extraterrestrials in the war in heaven in the Bible is Enki and Enlil. And Enlil is the 6-finger 1947 Roswell looking alien. They look like a naked white man with a bulging belly, 5 fingers and 1 thumb on the left or right hand. That's why the Bible said the number of the beast is the number of a man. His number is 666. Now when we look at the history behind the cross-shaped building structure located in modern LALIBELA, history books and on the internet, there's data concerning the cross-shaped building structure that was carved out of solid bedrock in Africa. Was created by the help of extraterrestrial cherubs that landed upon Mount Sinai in Ezekiel's biblical wheel within the wheel like glowing UFO circular spaceships that landed upon Mount Sinai. Now it says that they worked day and night, humans, Africans, carving this cross-shaped building structure out of solid bedrock in Africa, in Ethiopia. And when the humans got tired, because they was working day and night, 24 hours a day, the Africans in LALIBELA, to carve this solid cross-shaped building structure out of solid bedrock. When the Africans got tired and fell asleep, the extraterrestrial working alongside them, they had 3 fingers and 1 thumb, big black O-shaped ass, no sex organ. They have a brown circular beak with a cake-like organ within the center of their belly. So they didn't need to sleep. This is why the cherubs are either married or given married in the body. They have no sex organ. So these eggs with big black O-shaped ass, they have black Africans in Ethiopia. Now this is where we see the aliens that landed upon Mount Sinai carving the 6-point star image of King Solomon in the ceiling post area of the interior cross-shaped building structure located in Ethiopia. So this is the LALIBELA, LALIBELA. LALIBELA is a place in Africa. That's a cross-shaped building structure. They have the Seal of Solomon in the ceiling post. Now, this is where the cube structure of New Jerusalem that every Christian reading the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible in all your neighborhood churches, they're waiting on the cube structure of Revelation 21:18 to return from outer space onto earth. Now, when you go to the cross-shaped building structure in LALIBELA and look up in the ceiling, we see this cube within a 6-point star. Now this is where my video kicks in, the extra information within the cube. Because when we look at the data concerning aliens that landed upon Mount Sinai and Ezekiel's biblical will within the world like UFOs, helping the black Africans of LALIBELA construct a solid cross-shaped building structure out of solid bedrock. we're looking at this alien using this atomic writing inside upon the cube surface. You saying, what's that? Well, humans use molecular writing, like they take like water is made of molecules, H2O. So they might take some liquid ink, which is molecular ink, liquid molecular ink, and humans will dip this pen in this black ink and write on the wall, or they might take a sharp pen and carve in the stone. They're still using molecular image production. Okay, now, but the aliens, they helped the black Africans build the cross-shaped building structure in LALIBELA. They use atomic image production. That's a big difference. So in my video, you will see me enlarge the cube structure of New Jerusalem within the 6-point star 8 image that's seen in the ceiling post of the cross-shaped building structure in modern LALIBELA. Now, since aliens use atomic writing on the cube surface of Nibiru, which is depicted upon the Babylonian temple walls, as well as within the Ethiopian cross-shaped building structure ceiling post. So these aliens, they landed upon Mount Sinai, they used atomic writing when they completed the cross-shaped building structure 6-point star image in the ceiling post. So that means for all these thousands of years, okay, humans have been blinded by the Greek and Roman conquerors over the biblical Holy Land of Daniel 8:12 that blew the nose off the Sphinx and theological racism. So this is why we look at the 6-point star central cube of New Jerusalem image upon the Babylonian temple walls, and we can reconnect the dome of the rock outer wall stone rectangular window frames that goes around the entire surface outer wall area of the Temple Mount, the holy building of King David and Solomon. And in each stone rectangular window frame, we see a Babylonian stele pyramid that's connected to the book of Psalms, 105th chapter, 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob. So that entered into ancient Egypt after crossing the Euphrates River, bringing with them their Babylonian stele pyramids into North Africa, where we see the first stele pyramids of Saqqara. Now, this is the connection of the Babylon and the Dome of the Rock, the Temple Mount. But when we look at the solid cross-shaped building structure in modern LALIBELA from a helicopter, we see the Babylonian stele pyramids surrounding its cross-shaped building structure base. So this, again, is another bonus in the discovery area concerning the cross-shaped building structure of the 12 sons of Jacob in Ethiopia that's connected to the Babylonian temple walls cross image of Nibiru and 6-point star image of Nibiru. Now, the only difference is that the first black people in Babylon was the second black civilization. Deals with Genesis 2:7, normal headed African Adam. Now, the first Africans that existed upon the surface of the planet Earth, they all had long watermelon-shaped heads, such as portrayed upon the ancient Egyptian temple walls, where we see elongated headed African pharaohs. Now, when we move forward, we see that the African lion sphinx appears within the Ethiopian cross-shaped building structure ceiling post central cube 8 within the 6-point star. So now, this cube is the cross image of Nibiru. It's a cube form of moving black space. Space always existed; it was never created, so it's eternal. When black space moves, we see a tornado-like vortex, which is referred to as a black hole. When two tornado-like vortexes touch tip to tip, we get the creation of stars. So, what's moving through the north and south pole area of the 1 John 1:1 biblical light that existed before it created the 5 billion year world and the black outer region of space is two tornado-like forms of magnetic fields touching tip to tip, which is two rotating forms of black hole. Okay, now, the black hole in astronomy. Now, when we go back to the alien inscription upon the central cube within the 6-point star, within the ceiling post, 6-point star 8, we see below the 6-point star 8, we see a circle carved in the Ethiopian cross-shaped building structure in LALIBELA in Africa. So there's a circle representing Ezekiel's biblical will within the world like U.F.O. I refer to it as circle 3. So here's where we connect the cube structure of New Jerusalem. Okay, now I'm putting this image on my video. When you walk into cross-shaped building structure in Ethiopia and look up, you see a 6-point star carved in the ceiling post, and then you see in the ceiling a circle carved in the ceiling, and that circle is protruding out of the ceiling, kind of. So this is the Ezekiel's biblical Wilton and Will like UFO 3 carved in the ceiling of the Ethiopian cross-shaped building structure in modern LALIBELA. Now, the image in which I'm putting on this video shows you the 6-point star 8 when you're looking up, and then a circular wheel within the world like UFO in which landed upon Mount Sinai 3 image. Now, so you're looking up a 6-point star that has a cube of Nibiru, Revelation 21:18, returning cube structure of New Jerusalem, and then if you're looking down from the bottom of the 6-point star. So when you're looking up at the ceiling, it's a 6-point star in the ceiling post. And then at the bottom of the 6-point star, you know, the downward triangle, there's this circular UFO, because it's in the ceiling still. You're looking up at the ceiling. So Ezekiel's biblical will within the world like UFO appears as a circle, a stone in the ceiling of the solid cross-shaped building structure in modern LALIBELA. Now, as your eyes fall downward, you hit the wall, and what you see up on the wall, so there's 3 images, is a stone triangle. So now you say, oh, I get your point. Well, the stone triangle, okay, represents the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramid. So that's 7. Stone triangle number 7. So these 3 images that I put on my video are the interior cube image of New Jerusalem within the 6-point star, which is the cube, Babylonian cube and cross image, a 6-point star image of Nibiru, the planet of the crossing. Now, I must tell you that this this pyramid 7 is a square on the ceiling post. So that's like if you walk up to your wall and punch it. That means your arm is punching into the wall. Okay. Now, where your arm punches into the wall, act like you're punching a triangular hole in the wall. Now, you will put a square around that triangle. That's the image that appears on the ceiling, on the post, supporting the ceiling. So you have this pyramid within the square. Now you look up, you have a circular wheel within the wheel like UFO carved out of the ceiling. Then you look up above that, next to that, you have a 6-point star. So these are the images that appear in that black African LALIBELA cross-shaped building structure in Ethiopia. Interior images. So the black people on Earth has 3 fingers and 1 thumb, great extraterrestrial ELOHIM of our entire solar system that landed upon Mount Sinai, connected to Ezekiel's biblical will within the world like UFO. Now, when we go back to what is in the cube within the 6-point star, we look at the cross-shaped building structure in Ethiopia, 6-point star 8. Then we look at the cube area within the 6-point star, micropixelated surface data. That's where the aliens data comes in. You say, okay, so the aliens that landed upon Mount Sinai use atomic writing on the cube surface. That's right. So when we look at these aliens that helped the Africans in LALIBELA carve this cross-shaped building structure, they work side by side. Africans next to aliens that landed upon Mount Sinai to complete this solid cross-shaped building structure. Now you say, why is this? Because that cross is a stone rectangle and a horizontal rectangular section upon the Babylonian temple walls that's located in modern Iraq. Babylon, the first black African step pyramid civilization of Ham. So this same cross appears in Ethiopia as a solid cross-shaped building structure. Now when we go to the Jerusalem Temple Mount, we see the same cross within the step pyramid. Okay, and then you say, so what's that image? Well, this is the image that appears within all of the stone rectangular window frames that are on the outer wall surface area of the octagonal building structure that has a golden dome in the Middle East. Now, this is where we begin to make additional archaeological, theological, and astronomical discoveries, and microbiological discoveries concerning the cube hexagon of Nibiru or Revelation, as it relates to a cube within our sun, which is the cube in the 6-point star. Now, this cube in the 6-point star is connected to a cube inside 1 John 1:1, 15 billion year old sun throne, holy hydrogenated creation that existed in the black outer regions of space before it created the 5 billion year old world. So your holy hydrogenated creation element of your soul can be seen glowing around the chemical circular area of the human cell with electron microscope. That is when we take a cell sample from your arm, your leg, your blood, saliva, and magnify it in microbiology 101 with the electron microscope. We see a chemical circular area for the human cell. We see a black dot in the center of that chemical circular area of the human cell, which is called the cell nucleus. Now, when we identify 1 John 1:1, 15 billion year old sun throne, holy hydrogenated creation that existed in the black outer regions of space before it created the 5 billion year old world, we see it as the biblical holy hydrogenated creation that light of every man that cometh into the world. So where do we find the light of God in microbiology 101, glowing around the chemical circular area of the human cell? We see it rotating around the chemical circular area of the human cell in this circular holy hydrogenated creation plasma form. Now you say, okay, so what is this connection to the cube in the sun? It's the cube in the 6-point star. So what's the cube in the 6-point star? It has, if you write this 6-point star on the wall, it's two triangles connected together, right? And it's generating the cube in the center of the triangle. You say, okay, now what? Now you're about to find the salvation plan of New Jerusalem is dealing with the human cell. That's it. You say, how? Well, the human cell, 75, is seen in with the electron microscope and microbiology 101. It has a black dot in the center of the chemical circle of the human cell called the cell nucleus. When you see the ganglion lines emerging out of the black dot in the center of the chemical circular area of the human cell, it looks like an X with a line going north to south through the X. So that's the image we see. An X with a line going straight through it from north to south. That's in the human chemical circular area of the cell. It's emerging from the black dot, the cell nucleus, out towards the circular rotating holy hydrogenated creation element of the human soul. Now, you're saying this is the salvation plan that matches the Greek and Roman image of Jesus forever. Because Jesus and Jehovah in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible is connected to Daniel 8:12 Greek and Roman conquerors over the biblical Holy Land area of Jesus gathered Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem. But the salvation plan of the human cell, 75, is seen with the electron microscope. It's the salvation plan of the human cell nucleus. Hexagon-based chemical ganglion lines. Okay, now, you say, okay, so the cube that the National Space Administration, so whose satellite images, film orbiting around our sun is the size of Jupiter. It's a black cube form of moving space. This is what's in the center of the 6-point star.